Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. It's me, it's the Welsh, it's you, the Peanuts, the Cracker Jacks, all of the above. And today we're talking all things MLB. We're talking baseball. We got fantasy. We got betting. We've got a new fun toy that we found, Welsh. I don't know if you know about the toy. But we've
No,
got a toy.
I like toys. What kind of toy?
And it's not the kind that you stayed up late and then all of a sudden you wake up and the TV's still on. It's not that kind of toy. It's not that. It's fun, and it's on bettingpros.com. But before we get to any of that, Welsh, I hope you're doing well this lovely afternoon, my time, morning, your time.
Always.
And always, yeah. My friend. Did you watch any baseball last night? I guess that's the question.
I watched some of the baseball. Some of the things in the midday. I actually went on a nice little rant about, you know what, Sure Love does YouTube games. Really excited for the next Apple Plus game. Maybe something over on Discovery Plus will be next. Maybe we'll have some, who knows? Maybe E-Entertainment. I don't know. I'm loving that. I'm really loving when I'm on my MLB.TV package and I can not watch a game, but I got to go subscribe to Paramount Plus to watch, Royals and Tigers or whatever.
If you have a Paramount Plus membership, I'd like to borrow it because I want to watch that series about The Godfather and I want to watch the South Park specials.
Bogman does. The key is everybody should know this in the whole world is all of Bogman's close circle. No one actually owns anything as far as streaming services. He does, and we just use his. So I'll give you his. I probably won't do it on air, but I'll give it to you after.
Oh, no, give it on air. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. All right, let's give some headlines on air. Let's start with Cole Calhoun. I mean, the dude's been red hot. 2-run home run, scored 3 runs yesterday. Lucas Giolito, 7 strikeouts and a victory over the Red Sox. That was our boy last night in DFS. Our other boy was Christian Javier, banding 9 in a win over the Guardians. I want to talk and pause for a second about Christian Javier. This is one of my biggest names that I wanted in pre-draft stuff that we talked about, in draft season we talked about. And even so, there was time to be discouraged at a certain point. But I knew eventually a spot would open up and eventually Christian Javier would shine. And Welsh, it feels so good to watch this guy pitch so well.
Almost 12K per 9. He's got a very low sub 2 ERA with also is encouraging like an XFIP that's just a little over 3. So you're not like crazy overbearing on it. And a lot of the other metrics are just in line. He's not giving up homers, which he's seen even more success on. One of the better arms in the rotation right now. That rotation that's been all wonky all across the board. I'm kind of a Christian Javier guy, and Christian Javier might continuously be someone we have to put more of a dot on when we're looking, obviously, at DFS, like you called yesterday, but even in like a player prop type of stuff, because that's a guy. That's a guy right now. 9 strikeouts on the Guardians. The Guardians don't strike out. At least in theory, they have not been striking out, though that number seems to be increasing a little bit. And maybe even we'll attack it later today.
All right, let's see if we want to attack some of these other things here. Evan Longoria hit his first 2 home runs of 2022 as the San Francisco Giants continue to just pound away at New York Mets pitching over the last few days. Also, Thairo Estrada, something also to talk about. A lot of people thought when La Stella came back that he would lose playing time. He's hitting 400 over his last 8 games. Yeah. I just did a waiver wire video. He was part of the guys that I broke down, and it just feels like this is a guy that can help you. He's got 6 stolen bases already. I don't know why he is only rostered still in 60% of formats. That doesn't make any sense to me, Welsh. Does that make any sense to you?
I think a lot of it was maybe about like him not being able, like you said, to be able to keep that spot on the infield. Like how many, with Longoria coming back, with La Stella coming back, it seemed logical that he would go away. But that's former Yankees prospect, Thairo Estrada. Saw him in the Arizona Fall League back in the day. Always made good contact, could run a little bit, and he's doing it like a really high level. I've been a little dismissive of him early on. But if the Giants are going to play him and he's going to continue getting run, even as a super utility player, that'll play and that's going to work. And he's a very good waiver wire pickup right now, especially I would say it's like a bench bat that you can kind of throw at multiple different spots in your lineup. He's one of those really good bench bats to get in and probably better than guys that you're sitting on right now or, some cold starters that you're waiting to get hot.
Harold Castro hit his first multi-homer game for the Detroit Tigers yesterday. Also, some good news. We love the Shane Baz updates. 2 1/3 scoreless innings in his latest rehab. So there you go. If Baz is floating around on your waiver wire, go grab him now. Let's talk about a little of the injuries. The Yankees put Giancarlo Stanton on the IL. Stanton apparently doesn't have a calf strain. It's an ankle inflammation. I assume that's better, but again,
Is
this
it?
is just par for the Stanton. I think it is because the calf strain is one of those things that we've seen take a long time. And when the guys
Yeah.
rush back, all of a sudden they have a bigger issue at the ankle. If it's an ankle sprain or a high ankle sprain, it's going to be a couple weeks. I mean, he's not a running back, for God's sakes. It's a little bit different in terms of recovery. Ronald Acuna with a quad scratch from the Braves lineup. So Acuna
Like
seems to be
that.
having a lot of secondary leg issues. Do you think this is just maybe pushing things too soon? This is repercussions for coming back earlier than we anticipated, or do you think it's just a fluke?
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think you probably have a lot of just early missed time. Remember, as much as these guys have spent time, how many times you hear these dudes that they're just like, oh, spring training, blah, blah, blah. These guys complain. But look at like even this year, the guys that just weren't, in early throwing programs and early training programs in like January and February that were rusty and missed time, and how much it actually is needed, because it's part of like that body rhythm. You know how it's like your body just gets used to, your body's used to, if you run every day or whatever type of exercise you do, as much as they complain, that's the process. And Acuna was taken away from that process for a bit of time. I don't know if I'm that surprised that he's dealing with just some little aches. You're also having like a transitional weather period, where you're getting into a lot hotter months, and the overall weather can screw with you. It's weird stuff I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I could just be like, yeah, it's just fluky. But I think that's kind of what it is. It's a lot of weird missed time that he hasn't had the rigors of the everyday baseball for months and months, like a lot of these guys. You also got weather stuff. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Acuna whatsoever with these. But, I'm also the injury guy where I'm like, man, these guys really do get hurt, huh? This is crazy. Look at Stanton.
Well, look, you're willing to deal with it for a premium player like Acuna.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a little concerning that seems to be different issues with the legs. And I think that's always the thing you're concerned when a guy comes back and he pushes a knee surgery too soon. They tend to have the ripple effect of other things not working in conjunction properly or favoring or whatever it might be. But again, hopefully it's more just fluky.
The interesting thing to monitor with him would be then if that running cools down, because that was the thing we were all shocked about. Like, oh my God, look at him. He's just running. The guy's just running as he came back. We thought that could cool down. Maybe this is going to be something where the team pulls off that green light a little bit. He's already stolen 8 bases in 17 games so far this year. So something to consider. I know a lot of you, happy trigger finger trade guys might want to, be on the lookout. I don't want to trade Ronald Acuna or anything like that, but I think it's a possibility that the stolen base numbers come down. So just something to consider.
Jeff McNeil ran right into a wall yesterday. He left the game, and Ramon Laureano heading for a CAT scan on Thursday. So hopefully everything works out with him. Now I'm heading for a weekend filled with grilling. And I know if you all out there are like me, you like to grill. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to avoid the hustle and bustle of the weekend, going into Memorial Day grocery stores, you just want all the meats delivered to your house, the Omaha Steaks has you covered. So please, for the love of God, use the promo code leading off and get yourself some meat with the Dads Want Steaks package, because that comes with the bacon wrap filet mignons, the jumbo franks, the air chilled boneless chicken breasts, and of course, my favorite, the caramel apple tartlet. And no, there's not a more fun word to say in the English language than tartlet. It's definitely.
Can I also
tartlet.
add, Joe, that it is
sure.
an insane deal when you look at it. When we got the giant foam cooler and opened it up, my wife looked at me and like, how much is this? How much is in here? And I was like, so much. The deal that you guys get for the amount of stuff is unmatchable. Trust me.
Yeah. And for the $99, you also get, with this package, 8 free Omaha steak burgers. So you get the burgers, you get the dogs. If the people don't want the red meat, you got the chicken. Mine came with a pork tenderloin as well. I mean, delicious stuff, man. And again, use that promo code leading off, and you can buy this, for yourself. You could buy it for the dads out there. Heck, you can buy it for the moms out there. I don't care. It's got a lot of different versatile people that you could buy it for. But I'm telling you right now, it's a high quality. And I like the fact too that you can have it in the freezer, it's ready to go, and then you put it in the little pack, and then you can thaw it out overnight. You can thaw it out in a half hour in the water, either way, and you're good to go. Especially if you're running around, you got all these activities and the kid stuff and everything like that. It's nice to be able to come home and have some quality meat. So Omaha Steaks, promo code leading off. Again, get that package that they're selling now. I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
They could buy it for us too if they wanted. They could buy one and send it to us too. That's not off the table. I just want everybody to know that.
I will make more room in the freezer. I will figure it out. I don't know how. The Jenga project that is my freezer. I will figure that. I'll buy a new one. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this article on MLB.com? The book is out on how to pitch Vlad Jr., Guerrero slugging down 154 points from last year.
How to what,
So this is a
legend?
fascinating piece on MLB.com right now that I saw by Mike Petriello. And basically, he is dug deep. He's done a very good job of the research here. And in terms of what's going on location wise. So now that somebody is basically a writer can go and find this, clearly, if a writer's figured this out, other teams have figured this out. So Vladdy has to make an adjustment. I think Vladdy's up to the task. Do you?
Of all players, absolutely. He's one of the, he's got one of the best batter's eyes I've ever seen in person. In the 20 odd what games I saw in the Arizona Fall League. I mean, this guy isn't up there swinging. This isn't Kelnick. This isn't Adele. I mean, you guys, I don't even need to sell this. You guys know that. You can see
he's great.
This guy has a very specific part of the zone he's looking at, but I think he's gotten a little bit more aggressive. I saw, and I've just clicked open this piece, so I can't go and read everything that it is about it. But as a team, these guys are getting destroyed by sliders right now. These pitches, these breaking pitches off with some velocity are killing them. It was primed when I watched the Hunter Green start just the other day because he's been primary sliders. He struck out Bo Bichette in the first start. They're chasing at such a crazy degree. I don't know what that's about, but Vladimir Guerrero is probably one of the top 5 players in baseball that can make these adjustments. And that's why I don't have a big worry about Vlad. I mean, he just makes it happen. Even when he wasn't lofting the ball in his rookie year, he was still hitting the ball. So this is cool. I'm going to check this out. I'm interested to read this.
All right. On top of that, I know everybody loves a good extrapolation nation that we love to do here on the program. But I will say I think both of us, I know I was very, very high on Francisco Lindor's value this year. I thought he was being grossly undervalued, grossly underappreciated. And if you're looking right now in terms of what he's giving you, he's on pace for 25 homers, 115 ribbies, 25 doubles, and 108 runs scored. Now, that's pretty good return investment. And this is what I was trying to say to people. I know last year was a disappointment, but remember this for next year when the guys were struggling the first year of the big contract and all of a sudden they drop a round or two in drafts, to be aggressive on them. If they have an extensive track record of being a certain player, there's usually a good chance they return to being that certain player. Again, this is more for the premium kind of guys than those mid-level free agents, but what do you think of Lindor's pace and what he's doing so far compared to last year, obviously, which was such a disappointing first half?
Yeah, I translate this type of stuff also to, it's the same kind of thing with prospects. Like the more track record you have of players, and that's probably why not everybody, but a lot of people, you come back down this path when guys have a track record of success and then they fall off. We shouldn't just throw them away and discount them. Francisco Lindor was, I think, a prime example of that. Transitional trading stuff going on, learning who he was as a player. This is someone that I bought back into because this is a first round talent. That's also a unique thing. When you see guys that have in the past represented first round talent, it's something that can be easier to buy in on later rounds when you can start finding first round talent in the 5th or 6th round. This is a guy that was just struggling on making quality contact. That is a changeable thing. I think everything at the end of the day is something that can be changed. It could be fixed in baseball. I mean, we're seeing guys like Brandon Drury succeed at a level that he literally didn't do any of this, all of his major league years combined. So it's all possible. But I think that talent level and that previous track record are things that make the probability even higher. So I buy into Lindor. I buy into him being a 2020 guy. This is what I was trying to pay for in those later 5th rounds and whatnot.
Now, I know the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks are going crazy right now because one of our unofficial mascots of the show, Ray Liotta, apparently has passed away and this news is broken. Now, I was waiting to get some verification on this because I don't trust Twitter whenever they say anybody.
I was doing the same thing
Twitter.
while you were talking.
I was waiting for some more news outlets because I'm a responsible journalist. I'm a responsible member of the media, and I just don't go on air with anything like Ron Burgundy would. Apparently, at the age of 67, this is confirmed by TMZ and a few other, outlets that actually, tend to verify these things. And I see like Deadline Hollywood and a few other verified places have it. So very sad news. This is, if you're a baseball fan, this is your Field of Dreams guy. This is your Joe Jackson. This is, if you're a Goodfellas fan, This is your Henry Hill, a guy that's had
You were
some
just talking about
fantastic films.
now you really need that Paramount Plus.
Yeah. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. But Tommy, I mean, look, look at some of the films he's done too. I mean, Copland, another great one. Certainly, he was good in Blow, and of course, everybody loves Operation Dumbo Drop. I think one of the great classics of our time.
He was in B
But
movie. I don't remember him being in B movie.
I'm a bee. What's the problem? I don't understand. I got all these bees. They're buzzing everywhere. It's crazy. Karen, what is your problem?
You can just do this the rest of the show, I think, actually. Just be Ray Liotta.
But I mean, it's sad. I'll tell you what, that steaming pile that was the Many Saints of Newark movie, he was definitely the highlight of that film, without a doubt. I mean, that movie was absolute trash.
Oh, you know, it was a good movie.
He was great in it.
This is like totally off the beaten path of all of these movies. Was Identity. Wasn't that the John Cusack movie?
Oh, Identity's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Liotta was
That's a
in
fantastic
that. I completely forgot he was as I'm looking at his discography. Can't speak.
If you build it, he will come. But yeah, that's to do a baseball show and having Ray Liotta or Kevin Costner die in the middle of it is definitely kind of a shocking thing. Again,
the chat was exploding.
Chat was exploding, but look, again, we have to kind of be careful with these things sometimes. So, very sad news. We'll try to pivot off of that, and we'll continue to celebrate the life of Ray Liotta, who just last week we were doing Chantix commercials here.
No, we were doing it like 3 days ago. No, we were doing it this week. We were doing it like this
Hide
week,
the gun and the Chantix. Okay, that's what you do. Let's go to fun facts because that'll pull us out of the doldrums. Welsh loves things that never happen, right? Spencer Strider's 5 strikeouts in 2 2/3 hitless, scoreless innings tonight give him 37 Ks in 24 1/3 innings this season, second most strikeouts among Major League Baseball relievers. So Spencer Strider certainly dominating right now. Any thoughts on, if you're looking for just some extra strikeouts, is this a guy that people should be adding to their roster if they haven't?
1,000%. I'm not the biggest stack up on all the relievers and play ratios and stuff like that. There's a few. Spencer Strider's number one. I'll tell you this right now. Spencer Strider next year will be the cheat code. If you remember, I think I said it on here with you in the preseason, when you're in points, if you want to cheat code this, get Michael Kopech, who qualified at reliever because he was a reliever all last year, and you could put him in that spot. Look at you now. Spencer Strider will be the ultimate cheat code next year. He might be in a rotation sometime soon. He is bonkers at his strikeout rate right now. This is, I think they're going to find a hard time getting him off of this role, but this is what he does. I don't think in any format you need to justify picking up Spencer Strider. Put him out there. You're going to get 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. You're going to get it once or twice a week. Get Spencer Strider. He is phenomenal.
Another thing that will put a smile on your face, this day in baseball history in 1993, this is the day that the ball went off Jose Canseco's head and over the fence. So that was all-time great. Do you remember who hit the ball? That is the question for the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks. Here's your trivia for the day. Who hit the ball that went off Jose Canseco's head and then off for a home run?
I don't. The only thing I wanted to add is I have something built in me now. Every time I see a guy right at the wall jumping for it, I think there's like a 50-50 chance it's going to bounce off of his head or his glove and it's going to go over. I always think it. Every time I look, I'm like, oh, there comes the ball. It's going to bounce. I just think these guys are sometimes like out in space land. And it never happens. It just rarely happens. Canseco, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to some of the stat heroes from yesterday. We talked about Christian Javier and his 9 strikeouts. How about Eric Fetty? 6 Ks or 6 innings, 6 2/3 for Yu Darvish, 7 Ks, 2 earned. JP Sears, who shops at Macy's, ironically, 5 Ks, no earned, 5 innings pitched. Paul Blackburn, no earns over 5 innings. Once again, I love that Mike Mayer puts these in, and every week, whenever Blackburn starts, he has to put him in the stat heroes, and I know it irks him. It's just great. He did walk 5 guys. It wasn't his best outing, but still getting that helping that whipping that ERA, baby. Let's watch that whip and lots of that Paul Blackburn. Lucas Giolito, 7 Ks over 6 innings. Robbie Ray, 3 earned, 10 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. Another bounce back there. That was my guy to trade for last week, so hopefully you did. Harold Castro, 2 dingers. Evan Longoria, 2 dingers. Cole Calhoun, red hot. Dansby Swanson, 4 for 5 with a homer. Joey Votto, 1 home run, 2 for 3. Seth Brown, same thing. Also, we had Bryce Harper, 4 for 5, and Trevor Larnach with a home run. Also, any stat heroes that pop out to you, Welsh, that you want to mention?
I love seeing Bryce Harper continue this. I will tell you somebody that I keep watching and I'm kind of impressed with. It's Jack Swinsky, who went 1 for 3. He had the homer, the 3 RBIs, and a stolen base. Little combo meal, if you will, homers and stolen bases. He's one of those weird dudes that, he came up way before they even considered bringing up O'Neal Cruz. And Swinsky looks like he's here to stay. He hits the ball pretty well. This is like a solid third, fourth outfielder, but for a Pirates team is going to, get major run. He's shown a little bit of power. He can show a little bit of speed. He hits a little bit, and I don't think he's going anywhere. Even when this team decides to bring up O'Neal Cruz at whatever point that'll be, if it's going to be in replacement of Cal Mitchell or it's going to be at shortstop, it just doesn't affect him. So Swinsky is, I think, definitely a deep league option, just someone to keep your eye on if you're dealing with injuries. I don't think he's a 10 or 12 team over any starter, but I am impressed with him.
Our own Dr. Glenn got the trivia question right. It was Carlos Martinez who hit the ball that went off Jose Canseco's head. Carlos Martinez is the answer. Here's your zeros. Thomas Szapucki, who's been in the Met system for many years now. Well, he came up and made a spot start and immediately will get sent back down. 9 earned runs, 4 homers allowed. Yikes. Talk about not being ready. Reed Detmers, 5 earned. We told you, trade him after the no-hitter. It's the only thing you could do. Ranger Suarez, 5 earned over 4 innings. He's not been great. To Kyle Hendricks, 5 earned, 4 Ks. And Charlie Morton, here we go again. Welsh, just when you thought it was safe to go out, Charlie Morton again, 4 1/3, 4 earned, 9 hits. I think it's over. It makes me sad, but I think
Charlie Morton.
This hurts the Braves. The Braves better go out and acquire another starting pitcher, because if Charlie Morton is done and it's starting to look like age is finally caught up and Father Time is caught up with Charlie Morton, they need more help in the starting rotation. Do you agree?
Yeah. Are you surprised that, one thing I'd throw out is you got Spencer Strider just sitting out there. You're putting him in long relief roles. Maybe swap those two. Maybe swap Strider and Morton. Maybe create a monster out of Strider and Morton, by the way. Maybe lock those two together. Maybe have Strider start the game and Morton come in more of like a relief role. Just things to consider. But are you shocked that there has been no real trades? Like, look at this now. I see the Mets and the Braves should be punching it out to try to get the next big starter, but we're almost in June. I always feel like there's like a trade or two, and it seems like with the expanded playoffs and everything,
we're not
everybody's
quite in June yet.
I
I think everybody waits till Memorial Day, and then I think that's when the market starts heating up, because I think organizations want to be patient. Like, I'm sure the Braves want to be patient with Charlie Morton, but now I think and they started to see turnaround, but now it's starting to run thin. And I think if you're the Mets, you're looking, okay, Peterson pitched well. Szapucki was terrible. You have some of the other guys who've been inconsistent. I mean, you just had a bad start from Chris Bassett. That can't make you feel good. Bassett's been that guy, that you were going to depend on, and all of a sudden he's let you down. So I think it's imminent, but we shall see what happens for those guys. Some of the hitters last night, Jesus Aguilar, 0 for 5 with 2 Ks. Mike Trout, 0 for 4 with the golden sombrero. Oh, my goodness gracious. Mike Mayer should probably lose a home run, because he called Mike Trout and he had 4 strikeouts. I think he should lose one from his tally.
We'll make that an official thing that started yesterday. So take one off the board.
All right, take one. Remove it. Byron Buxton, 0 for 5 with a K. He's hitting a $152 in May. Does have 5 dingers this month, but what are your thoughts on the Byron Buxton going south a little bit? I know you're Mr. Buxton. I know the weekend's coming, so just want to check your temperature.
You know what? The weekend is coming. Little spoiler alert. It's not going to be a Buxton weekend. It's not. I'm a little bit worried about it as well. I've watched 2 games in the last 10 days with him. He looks hyper aggressive. I don't know if you can blame it on not being healthy. There's a big streakiness to it that I don't like to see. And it's crazy because there's some good contact on the team. And Luis Arraez is one of the better guys. But I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Buxton is struggling hard. And I think from a correlation standpoint, you can look at the kind of banged upness he's dealing with, and it's just not working. You probably should sit him for a little bit. I think he could use a little mental rest and maybe even an IL stint. It's not good. He's not a good guy to make a bet on right now. And, it's also tough for trade periods, because if you think this is the downturn of Buxton with the injuries, it's a horrid time to do it. So you really have to kind of sit. You've got to sit on it. I personally look at it as a buying period, if I'm being honest here. He's bad. They're struggling injury stuff. I would be out there poking around, see if I can get a cheaper Byron Buxton. But I won't be picking him for the call.
Then when you look into FantasyPros stats and you see rostered and started 100%, they would all be Welsh.
It would be like the
that number is
Infinity
there.
Stones.
Yeah.
I would be like,
Right.
I'm here for the last one.
Let's see the home run board. Night King in the North still up at the top at 16. However, JP was the only one to call Evan Longoria's 2 homers. We are sitting at 899 total for the year of home runs called already, and we ain't even at Memorial Day. I think we had 1,200 last year total. Unbelievable. You guys are fantastic. We're so proud, just so damn proud. Welsh, let's talk a little bit about betting pros, because right now, BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, has a special offer. Bet $10, win 200. When you bet on any game, regardless of the outcome, $10 turns into 200 with the promo code leading off. Sign up today, download the BetMGM app, go to betmgm.com, bet responsibly, and bet with the promo code leading off. One word, leading off. Today, Hunter Green has a strikeout prop on FanDuel, 6.5. The juice is a 1-12 on the minus side. I don't know where you want to go with the over or under with this one, but I thought it was provocative. So FantasyPros is predicting 5Ks. FanDuel's got him set at 6.5. The juice is minus 112. Would you go over or under on the 6.5 with Hunter Green?
Boy, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to avoid this one.
Okay.
That's fair. If I were to bet it, oh man, I think the safe bet is to go under right now with him. I want to go over because I think the Cubs can get pretty swing happy, and I really do love that new slider mix. Hunter Green looks like a new pitcher. I've watched 2 of those starts. He looks like a new pitcher, but this is just a number I don't like. My play is to not play this one, but I guess I would go with FantasyPros and I would go with the under if I were forcing myself to take one.
AJ Pollock total bases on BetMGM 1.5, even money on that, plus 123 on the 1.5 total base prop on Jose Ramirez. Love that one today, even though it's school ball. Jose Ramirez is great. Mike Trout, yes, okay, fine, whatever, it was bad. He's got Ryu tonight. I think things get better for him. 1.5 again is the number for total bases. Plus 115 you're getting on Trout. Whenever you're getting plus money on a great player, I will take that. Same with Devers, plus 105 at 1.5, and he's going against Keuchel, who's been absolutely dreadful. Also, this is fun. Here it is. Here's the thing I was plugging before, the new toy. So we've got a toy over here at Betting Pros that Mike Mayer discovered for home run props. So if you go to bettingpros.com,
I'm clicking on it.
Under odds, you can do all the different props, and then you have the props for people to hit a home run. So if you think your guy's hitting a home run today, you can look for it, find it, see what the number is, and where you can get it. I mean, this is just fantastic. Like right now, today, to hit a home run, or yesterday, Aaron Judge was plus 330. So there you go. I mean, and they've got him for all these different games here too. So that is pretty damn cool over at Betting Pros. Look at us innovating.
That's fun.
Making things happen.
That's fun.
What props do you have on your radar tonight?
One actually I like is in that Cincy Chicago game, but it's on the other side. Justin Steele, a little bit underrated on the strikeout props. It's at 4.5, and he hit that on both of his last starts. Now they were both against Arizona, who's a pretty strikeout heavy team, but he had 10 strikeouts and then 9 strikeouts. But if you're looking for an equivalent team to strikeouts, how about the Reds? The Reds strike out. So you only got to get 5 strikeouts for him. And Steele has gone on an average of 89.5 pitches in those last 2 starts, going at least 5 and, a third of an inning. I think is a really, really good opportunity. That's probably my favorite. The other 2, this one's a little bit risky, but Tariq Skubal strikeouts 5.5 on the over is something that I kind of like. And it's risky because it's against the Guardians, and the Guardians don't necessarily strike out a bunch, but they are striking out a little bit more. I like this marker. I would probably be a little tenuous with it and probably not go crazy. This is one, I mean, Skubal's had almost 11K per 9 on the entire year, not walking guys. He's looked elite. And then the other one, I think it's just always a safe bet. It's Judge total bases, 1.5 over. This is one I would play today. I kind of dig the matchup. If you're playing the homers, I think it's almost even money. I think it's 105 on DK, kind of judging that he can't do it. So Steele, Skubal, Judge total bases. Those are my 3.
All right, let's go look at the DFS slate today. Tariq Skubal at 9.7 over on DK. Certainly in the mix there, especially in tournaments. Once again, he's just grossly underappreciated, undervalued, under-rostered. In tournaments, I'd be all over him. Less so in cash, but I would put him in cash too. I'm confident. And then you've got a bunch of guys going against each other. Aaron Nola against Kyle Wright. I hate when that happens, so I tend to stay away. If you want to pick a side, you can pick a side. But again, you're going to have to do multi-entry lineups in order to make this work. And hopefully you can eat one of these or two of these lineups that don't work, and then one or two does. So you have to be that kind of player to make it work. Eric Lauer going against Wainwright. Once again, I actually think that Wainwright being 8.8 is more of a fascinating investment because he's so cheap tonight. That Brewers lineup we talk about not being at 100%. I think there's a little bit of Oppo love with Wainwright tonight. Ohtani at 8.7 certainly is in play. He always brings strikeout ability. And then another guy too, Martin Perez, who's been on an absolute tear lately. And I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth, but it's 2022. 8.3K over on DK against Montas. He'll be low rostered. Put him and Skubal together. You can pretty much get whatever you want. And I think those guys, I mean, they've been terrific. On FanDuel, you get the Yankee game thrown in this mix on their night slate. So he's 10.3. Of course, in cash, you do that. Tariq Skubal's 10.1. So he's more expensive. You could also do that in tournaments. Again, a little bit less roster percentage to work against. I'm sure Nestor Cortez will be very popular. And again, single format pitcher. You got Ohtani at 9.9, Martin Perez at 9.7. Everyone's going to be on Ohtani. Have a Martin Perez lineup just in case Ohtani busts, because that would be something in tournaments to be good. Game stacks tonight. Red Sox, White Sox, all the Sox, the Angels as well. Lineup builders on DK, Jonathan Scope, 2.9. Marcus Semien, 3.7, still cheap. I'm still going to bang that drum. Cole Calhoun, 2.6. Come on, Cole Calhoun. Martin Perez stack. Let's go. And then Cole Calhoun on FanDuel, just 2.3. He's on fire right now. Gleyber Torres, 2.7. Jonathan Scope, 2.5. And AJ Pollock, 2.7. Tonight for my home run call, I'm going with the Juan Soto to leave the yard. Welsh, who are you going with for your home run?
I'm trying to make it easy. I'm going to go Aaron Judge. How about the easiest call you can do? I've been getting a little bit tricky with it. Has not been working. I need to get into the double digits, and I'm trying to get on the board. So give me Judge.
Getting those double digits. Also get them steaks delivered to your house at Omaha Steaks. Use the promo code leading off. Get the dads want steak package, because dads do want steaks. And if you just want steaks and you're not a dad, or you just want to pretend you're dad and go out there and get a, one of those cool little aprons that says, kiss the cook, or I'm the dad joke, whatever king. I don't care. Get that. Get the steaks. Use the promo code leading off over at omahasteaks.com and get that package today. $99, and you get the burgers thrown in for free. It's a beautiful thing. It's a whole lot of, it's a box of meat. It's a box of meat. It sells itself. That's it. I'm done. Also, don't forget, use the same promo code leading off for BetMGM, and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Fantasy Pros MLB. The waiver wire video is going to drop, I don't know, sometime this afternoon. Be very excited for it. Go check it out, please. Again, if you subscribe and you click the bell for notifications, you know when everything drops here. And we want to, once again, thank all the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks and everyone for listening to the show and making it such a success this season. And our thoughts with, the Ray Liotta's family after all the jokes that we've made here on the show and all the Goodfellas jokes over the years that Welsh and I and Bogman, there's been a lot of shine box jokes in the past between the three of us. Well, and,
now you should take us out Ray Liotta style, though. Take us out.
That'll do it for us. But the story of the game, it goes on and on and on forever. And if you build the podcast, people will come, Ray. We'll see you next time, kids.